Slope-intercept form of a line. In a previous video, we talked about slope, and I want to kind of go back to some of the things we did at the beginning of that slope video, talk a little bit more about it. Now, in this first example we did, again, in a different video, we had the equation y equals 2x minus 4, and I want you to notice a few things. One, the slope of this line ended up being 2. And 2, the y-intercept of this line is -4. I know it's kind of crowded in there, but the y-intercept of this line is -4, and the slope is 2. And I want you to pay attention to what this formula here looks like. Going down, for this other line that we graphed, the slope was -1/2, and the y-intercept was 1. Again, looking at the makeup of our formula here, -1/2 x plus 1, you're going to notice some similarities, right? The fact that the y-intercept is the same as this number out here, and that the coefficient on x is the slope. And that is what brings us to talking about slope-intercept form of a line. The slope-intercept form of a line is better known as y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the line and b is the y-intercept. i.e. where the line crosses the y-axis. So the number next to x, if a line is in slope-intercept form, the number next to x is the slope. So for instance, if I had y equals -3x minus 1, the slope is going to be that number directly next to the x, -3. So here, the slope is -3. The y-intercept is this entire number afterwards. So it's -1, so the y-intercept is -1. So let's do a few examples. Finding the slope and the y-intercept. When a line is already in y equals mx plus b form, this is very straightforward. Once again, the number directly next to the x is the slope. So this would be that the slope, which is m is the slope, is -3/4. Keep in mind that we don't say -3/4 x. It is not -3/4 x, it is just -3/4. The slope is -3/4. The y-intercept is 5, so the b value is 5. Oop, that's not what I meant to do. Ooh, that was also not what I meant to do. Just wanted to move it all up together. So that works out well if it's already in y equals mx plus b form. However, we're not always already in that form. So let's say we had something like 3x or 6x plus 3y equals 15. This is not in y equals mx plus b form. We need to rewrite it that way. And we're going to do that by solving for y. So we have 6x plus 3y equals 15. I want to get the y by itself. So I am going to start by subtracting 6x on both sides. These cancel. I get 3y is equal to negative 6x plus 15. To get y by itself, I am dividing everything by 3. So these 3's cancel. Y is equal to negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2, so negative 2x. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Negative 2x plus 5. Okay. The b, or not the b value, the m value is negative 2. The b value is 5. So our slope is negative 2, and our y-intercept is 5. Just had to rearrange it first. One more example here. Y is equal to negative x. This one's a little bit weird, right? Because really, the way that this is to be interpreted is more like this. Y equals negative 1x plus 0. These are the same statement, right? Negative x is the same thing as negative 1x plus 0. But when you write it this way, it's easier to figure out what the slope and y-intercept are. So here, the m value is negative 1. The b value is 0. So our slope is negative 1. And our y-intercept is 0. Let's do some more examples. So for these examples, we're going to be finding the slope, the y-intercept, and sketching the line. This is not going to be bad. This is going to be fun, I promise. So finding the slope and y-intercept, not hard, right? Slope, the value next to x, so that's going to be 5/3. And the y-intercept here would be negative 4. Here is the step-by-step process to plotting this line. You know what? Actually, I'm going to pause it and type it so that you don't have to watch me write it out. Pausing and typing. I'll be back in what is less than a second for you. All right, all typed out. So here's what we're going to do. Again, it's not going to be hard. We're going to plot the y-intercept. That's our first step. Start with the y-intercept. It's at negative 4. So I'm going to plot my first point right here at negative 4 on the y-axis. Always on the y-axis if it's the y-intercept. So I plotted my y-intercept. Second, plot the second point by starting at the y-intercept and using slope. And when I say use slope, here is what I mean. If we have slope as 5/3 and it is rise over run, that means the rise number is in the numerator. So this is rise 5. This is the rise. This is the run. Run is always going to be going to the right, right? Run is always right. So we're going to go right 3, and then the rise is going to be either positive or negative, depending like whatever equation you're looking at. But if rise is negative, you're going to go down, and if rise is positive, you're going to go up. So we're going to go up 5. Up 5, right 3, plot another point. Ready? Up 5, that's 5 units up. Up 5, right 3, plot my second point. And I'm done. I just have to connect the dots now. I can continue going up 5, right 3, and plot more points if I'd like. So up 5, right 3, plot another point. I can even move in the backwards direction and follow the same pattern. So going down 5, left 3, just doing that same pattern. And I can connect the dots and I am done. It is just like that. So this was my first point, and then I plotted my second point. If you'd like to attempt these next problems on your own before watching me do it, please go ahead and do that now. But I'm just going to scroll down and do the next few. Pause me if you want to try on your own. So for this one, slope, number next to the x. So the slope is 3. The y-intercept is -5. Okay. You might say to yourself, 3 isn't a fraction. And you'd be wrong and you'd be right. It doesn't look like a fraction, but anything is a fraction if you really want it to be a fraction. So if it's not a fraction, just put it over 1. The denominator is always the run. So we're going to go right 1. And we are going to go up 3 because slope is positive. So we are going up. Right 1, up 3. We're starting at the y-intercept, -5. So plotting a y-intercept of -5. And then I am going up 3. Right, up 3. And I am going right 1 and plotting another point. And I can continue this pattern. I can continue going up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1, up 3, right 1. You can continue the pattern in the backwards direction. So starting back at down here, down 3, left 1. That's as far as I can go. And then connect the dots. Just like that. This final one, the slope is the number right next to the x. So we have -2/5. The y-intercept, there's nothing written here, but we can always assume there's a +0. So the y-intercept is 0. So our slope is -2/5. Because it's negative, we're going down. So this will be down 2, right 5. Our y-intercept is at 0. So there I plotted. And now down 2. Okay. I'm just going to write -2, down 2, right 5, plot another point, and bam, you got yourself everything you need to draw a line because you only need 2 points to draw a line. I like to draw additional points. Like I said, it makes it easier for me to draw, especially by hand. So I'm going to go down to right 5 again, plot a point. Then I'm going to come back up here and move in the backwards direction. So I'm going to go backwards 5, up 2, and that just continues the pattern. Backwards 5, up 2. And connect the dots. And that is it. Let's do things in a slightly different way. Let's start with a line and find its equation in slope-intercept form. So for each of these, we're going to need to find the slope, we're going to need to find the y-intercept, and then we're going to need to write it in y = mx + b form. For this first one, the y-intercept. That's where it crosses the y-axis. That's down here at -3. So the y-intercept is -3. For the slope, we need to get 2 points on the line. So we have a good point right there. I see another point over here that falls nicely on the grid. I'm starting with my left point and I'm going up 3, right 1, right? Up 3, right 1, rise over run. So my slope is 3. So this is my M value. This is my B value, and slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So our equation is y equals -3x plus 3. That is the, not -3. Not any of that. I was reading this, I was reading this wrong because I put my slope first. I put my y-intercept first, and it should put the slope first. This is our M. This is our B. Boop, boop, boop. Much better. This should be 3x minus 3. 3x minus 3. All right. So when doing these, it's just important to look for good points on the line to use. So I'm going to use this point here and this point here. Those look like good points on the line to use. We'll do slope first. So starting with the leftmost point, I need to go down 4 units and then to the right 3 units. So my slope is rise is -4. The run is 3. That'll be my M value. My y-intercept is at -4. That is my B value. So my equation of my line is y equals, the slope is -4/3 x, and then my y-intercept is -4. Y equals -4/3 x minus 4. All right. Last one. I'm just going to choose like really far apart points for fun. Let's choose these 2 points just for funsies. So for my slope, to start with my left point, I need to go down, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 units plus another 1. So this is down 5 units. And then I have to go, let's see, this is 6 plus another 4, 10. To the right, my slope is going to be rise is -5, run is 10. That simplifies down to -1/2. And that is my M value. My y-intercept is right here at 1. So my B value is 1. The equation of my line is y equals, slope is -1/2 x. X isn't part of the slope though. -1/2 is the slope. And then plus B, so plus 1. And that is writing the equation given the line. This works, by the way, when you have a perfectly drawn line so you know your dots are in the right spots. So this works well when you are given a line. Not so much when you're drawing it by hand yourself because your line can be off a little bit. It also requires that your y-intercept be a nice number. You can't do this if our lines didn't have a nice y-intercept. If it hit like this and we weren't sure what number it was hitting at, we wouldn't be able to do it this way. we would have to do it a different way to find that equation. So let's look at what that process would look like. So find the slope-intercept form of the line that goes through the points 1, 2, and 3, -5. We're going to find slope using the slope formula. All right, so hold on just one moment. I'm going to go ahead and type out the steps for this one so it looks nice and neat. So I'm going to type those out, and then we'll come back and look at the problem. All right, I was able to type that all up. All right, so first step, we're going to use the slope formula to find the slope of the line. That will be our m value. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So we need an m, we need a b. So our m value, that's our rise and run. Rise over run, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. It doesn't matter who you choose to be what. I'm going to say this one's x1, y1, x2, y2. So our y2 is -5 minus y1 is 2. x2 is 3 minus x1 is 1. On top, we have -7. On the bottom, 3 minus 1, that is 2. So our slope is -7/2. I'm going to just pull this guy up a little bit. We have m. We need b. So at this point, we have m. M is -7/2. To find b, we're going to need to use one of these points and their x and y values to plug into this formula along with m to be able to solve for b. It doesn't matter what point you choose. I'm going to choose the one that doesn't have any negatives just because I like that better. I don't like having to deal with negatives. So I'm going to choose the x value 1 and the y value 2, and they have to be from the same coordinate point. Again, these 1 and 2 came from this coordinate point. I could have done this one. Either one will work. And I'm plugging into y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. So my y value is 2. My m value is -7/2. My x value is 1. We are multiplying. Plus b. So we get 2 is equal to -7/2 plus b. If I add 7/2 to both sides, that's going to give me 11/2 is equal to b. B equals 11/2. So now that I have b and I have m, that's what I need to plug into y equals mx plus b. I don't want y and x to be plugged in my final answer. So I'm going to do y is equal to -7/2 is my m, -7/2 x, plus 11/2. And I am done. And that's it. So it's a multi-step process, but it's not bad. You use the slope formula, you have x and y, you plug them in, you solve for b. Once you have b and m, you put it in your formula, you're done. Right? And that is all we have for slope-intercept form. So again, hope you're having a great day. I'll see you in another video. Bye.